So we continue with the second part of the eye part. So we just understood the layers. So the outermost layer was the sclera, which on coming on the front side becomes the cornea. So sclera, when it comes to the front side, it becomes transparent. Otherwise, it's opaque. Otherwise, it becomes transparent and becomes the cornea. The inner layer, second layer, is a choroid layer. Choroid layer gives the blackened color, or depending upon the color of the eye, it will be blue or green also. So it will be the layer which will be colored layer, which when it reaches the outside part, it is going to form into the ciliary muscles, and also the iris, which will leave a small gap for the lens, which is the pupil. And the iris is going to adjust the thickness of the lens so as to accommodate the vision properly. The last layer is the retina. Retina is the innermost layer on which the vision is going to be seen, and that retina contains two kinds of pigments, rods and cones. The rods contain rhodopsin pigment and cones contains rhodopsin pigment. Rods are sensitive to light, so that is why they can be seen even in dim. So they are not rods can be such that they do not respond to color, so they can be seen even they can help us to see even in the dim light. But the cones require good amount of light. They can be sensitive only to bright light, and that's why cones will be sensitive only during the day, during the light time, when the good amount of light is there, and hence we are able to identify the color only when there is good amount of light over there. So that was about the layers of the thing, and now we move on to the next part, and that is the yellow spot. Now the yellow spot over here is given over here. This is somewhere here is the yellow spot. Okay, that's on the retina, which is the yellow spot. And then there are some more things which I just mark all the points over here so that it's easier to discuss later on. So we have over here some thing which are ciliary muscles, and then there are suspensory ligaments. And then there is the optical nerve. This part over here is the optic nerve, and then there is this point over here which is the blind spot. Okay, optic nerve, yellow spot is over here also. You can put it here also. It's basically on the retina, which is also called as fovea centralis. It is fovea. And blind spot, choroid, vitreous humor. Yeah, I think we are done with all the different. Yes, all the namings are done on this particular figure. Okay, so we move forward with yellow spot. So yellow spot is that spot on the retina which is going to give you the best result, best vision. See, retina is something like a screen. Okay, अगर screen के ऊपर जो image गिरेगा, अगर वो image clear रहेगा, then we can understand it clearly. And when it is possible, when the rays of light coming from here exactly falls on the yellow spot. If it falls on the yellow spot, then the vision is very clear. The moment it is not falling on the yellow spot but going a bit beyond or nearby, ऐसा कुछ होता है, so then you will be having a blurred vision, and that's why you need to wear specs. So the distribution of the rods and cones is not uniform. A particular spot called as the macula lutea or macula split and luteum is yellow, is simply yellow spot of fovea centralis, lies at the back of the eye almost at the center of the horizontal axis of the eyeball. Now this particular line is very important because they ask you many times the location of yellow spot. So the location of yellow spot is, it lies on the back of the eye almost at the center of the horizontal axis of the eyeball. Almost at the center of the horizontal axis of the eyeball. This spot contains the maximum number of sensory cells, and particularly the cones. As a result, this is the region of brightest vision and also color vision. So any image which is falling on the yellow spot will always be giving you the best image in brightness as well as the color of the image. The rest of the retina has fewer cones and more rods. Okay, it has got fewer cones, so the color is a problem. Cones है, cones का problem है, rods तो है, rods के कारण you are able to see it, you are able to see, or even in dim light you are able to see, but the purest quality means the best quality of vision जो है, that will be when it is falling on the yellow spot. Yellow spot is the place of best vision of the normal eye. This is the reason why you move your eye from word to word as you read a line between a printed page. So when you are reading it, you normally read through, go through. Why? It is not that you are able to see the whole book at the same time, right? At the same time, when you are seeing at the book, you can see the whole book at the same time. But when you are reading it, what do you need? You need to go word by word. Why do you need to go word by word? Because actually what you are doing is, you are allowing the words to exactly get pictured on the yellow spot. And that's why the vision is what is the best at that time. So that's that's why we keep on moving our eye when we read through the book. Similar to the yellow, means exactly opposite to the yellow spot is the blind spot. Blind spot, no vision. If any particular image falls on the blind spot, उसका मतलब है वो दिखाई नहीं देगा. So the area of no vision, lateral to the yellow spot on the nasal side is the blind spot. There are no sensory cells here, and therefore there is a point. This is the point of no vision. This is the point at which the nerve fibers from all the sensory nerve cells of the retina converge and bundled together to leave the eyeball in the form of optic nerve. So you can see these are going towards the optic nerve to the brain. तो ये particular part पे क्या हो रहा है? कोई rods or cones नहीं है, because that is the point where all the cells are converging and forming into a nerve cell and going towards the brain. So that's why that is the yellow spot. That's a blind spot. So blind spot के लिए एक experiment भी दिया, how to identify the blind spot, or chart for experiencing the blind spot. So you keep this particular thing and you'll be able to get that thing. So anyway, now we see the next part of the eye, that is the lens. The lens is a transparent biconvex crystalline. So this is the biconvex crystalline. Oh, I didn't mark the lens at all. So this is the lens. Yeah. So the lens is a transparent biconvex crystalline body located just behind the pupil. It contains transparent lens fibers, long thin cells which has lost their nuclei. So these ones, long thin cells which have lost their nuclei, and so they do not multiply. That's why once it is there, it is there. The lens is collectively held in position by fibers called as the suspensory ligaments. So they are going to be placed in position by the suspensory ligaments, which are the fibers which are connecting over there, and which attaches to the ciliary body. So the ciliary muscles, the ciliary body is connecting. So the muscle to the lens का जो connection है, that is the suspensory ligaments. The ligaments are connecting the muscles to the lens. The ciliary body lies at the junction of the choroid and the iris and is itself a part of the choroid. The ciliary body contains muscles which on contraction and relaxation changes the shape of the lens, being somewhat elastic for viewing objects at different distances. So yes, you can see that this suspensory ligaments connected to the ciliary body, they are going to expand and contract so that they are going to give rise to the different sizes or the different focal length of the lens, so that the vision of anything what we want will be perfect. Now we see the next thing are the two chambers of the eye which contains fluid for protection. So one is a chamber just out in front of the lens, and the other one is this particular layer or this particular area over here, which gives you a complete ball-like effect over here. This is the vitreous humor, this is the aqueous humor. So vitreous humor and aqueous humor, two chambers of the eye, aqueous and vitreous chambers. The lens together with its suspending structures divide the inner cavity of the eyeball into two chambers aqueous humor in front of the eye lens and vitreous humor behind the lens. So ये lens के ये side पे aqueous humor, ये side पे vitreous humor. A आगे, V पीछे. Aqueous chamber is the front chamber between the lens and the cornea. It is filled with clear watery liquid called aqueous humor. The aqueous humor serves in two ways. Keeps the lens moist and protects it from physical shock, and it refracts light. So it is going to do two things. The aqueous humor is going to do two things. First, it's going to keep the lens moist, and secondly, it is going to protect it from physical shock. Yeah, moist and keep it moist and keep protect from physical shocks. And secondly, it is going to refract the light. Vitreous humor is a large cavity of the eyeball behind the lens. It is filled with a transparent jelly-like thicker fluid called vitreous humor, the glassy fluid. Vitreous is glassy, so vitreous is glassy fluid. The vitreous serves two functions. It helps in keeping the shape of the eyeball. So yeah, because of the fluid which is present over here, the eyeball will never compress itself. So that's why it is going to be the vitreous humor which is over here. And secondly, the protects the retina and its nerve endings. So the retina and the nerve endings are going to be protected by this liquid which is present inside over here. So that's the use of the vitreous humor. Now let's see how we have our vision. How do we see something? So how do we see? The four major steps in seeing an object are as follows. Entry of light rays. So the light rays from the object enters the eye through the transparent structure conjunctiva, then cornea, then aqueous humor, lens, vitreous humor. Okay, so what are the structures through which the light is going to pass through? Now this is very important for you because this could be asked even in form of a sequential order. You know, you can arrange it in sequential order. So in sequential order, we know that light, how does it pass? It comes over here, passes through the conjunctiva, then the cornea, then the aqueous humor, then the lens, then the vitreous humor, and then reaches the retina. Okay, so it passes through this part. Focusing on image, first the curvature of the cornea converges the light rays to some extent, and the lens converges them further to form an image of on the retina. The image of the retina is inverted and real. So you can see that when you are going to have any particular ray of light coming here, find this. So when it enters over here, it is going to be there will be some refraction, so that it goes here inside, and then it is going to come directly like this. So it will see that exactly yellow spot के ऊपर ही उसका image आएगा. So the image is falling on the retina. The image which will be formed over here, you know, it's a biconvex lens, so image will be real and inverted, which is image on the retina. Nerve impulses produced in the retina transmit to brain. The light energy of the image produces chemical changes in the sensitive cells, rods and cones. These changes generate nerve impulses which travel through the optic nerve and reach the visual area of the cerebrum, where they give the sensation of sight. So the light falls on the rods and cones. The rods and cones become sensitized. The sensitized rods and cones produces impulses. Impulses go through the optic nerve to the brain. The brain के अंदर cerebrum में जो vision का part है वहाँ पे जाएगा, and it senses the vision what you are having. And finally, brain interprets. Our brain interprets the image in many ways. First, it sees the object upright, even if the image formed on the eye was inverted. The image form was inverted, but we understand it Sita. Okay, you can see me not upside down. You can see me just normal. So this is because whatever image which is falling on your retina, the brain makes it Sita and shows you and feels about it. Accommodation. Viewing objects in sharp focus. To see an object clearly, its image should be in sharp focus in each eye. The process of focusing the eye is to see objects at different distances is called accommodation. This is mainly brought about by change in the curvature of the elastic lens, making it thinner or flatter. So you need to see that you need to make this lens flatter or thicker depending upon where that object is placed. So the light which is coming on it falls exactly on the retina. So that's why there will be the change in the focal length of the biconvex lens over here continuously by the ligaments, the ciliary muscles over here. So first is the distant vision, the lens is more flattened or thin. So if you want to see something which is far off, then the focal length is going to be increased. That means the thickness of the lens will become very less, it becomes thinner. Whereas if you see something nearby, then you are going to thicken the lens will thicker, so that for near objects, nearer than 6 meters, the lens becomes more convex or rounded. These change in the shape of the eye is brought about by the ciliary muscles. So you can see that this is what they are given you the figure over there, that when it was a near object, at that time the lens has become bigger, whereas when it's a distant object, then it is thinner. So that is why they are given this particular way by which the light ray entering into the eye is adjusted so as the distance, so that the distance between it is such that the image which is formed is always on the retina. This is called as the accommodation of the eyes for distant and near vision. In normal condition, ciliary muscle relaxes, the lens remains stretched by the suspensory ligaments and it is less convex, suited for viewing distant objects. So normally you are seeing something distant only, okay? You normally have a tendency to see far off things, okay? Only when you want to see something near, you are going to change the thing. So normal condition of your eye will be such that you will be having the body, the thing in such a way that you are viewing some far off objects. That's why the lens will be thinner. When we look at the nearby objects, the ciliary muscles with a circular contract and tend to pull the ciliary body slightly forward. This releases the tension on the suspensory ligament, making it loose, and the lens, on account of its elasticity, become thicker and more rounded or convex. So that was about the accommodation of the light. The next one is the light and dark adaptation. So that is, you can see that light entering into eye is going to be blocked. It is not going to be that complete light is going to enter the body. So that is called as light adaptation. When you pass from a brightly lighted area to a dark room, such as a cinema hall, you experience difficulty in seeing objects for a short while. Slowly your vision is improved. This improvement is called as dark adaptation. This change is due to the regeneration of the visual purple or rhodopsin, the pigments of the rods which are earlier broken down due to bright light. So when there is bright light, the rods get broken down, and that's why the vision is normal. But as soon as you go into the dark area, at that time the rods are already broken down, so it will take some time to reload them or remake them, and that's why it takes time for you to adjust yourself in the dark area for some time. But once time goes by, and within few seconds, you'll be able to see everything properly in the dark area also. This is nothing but the time taken for adaptation of the eye, that is called as dark adaptation. Also, the dilation of the pupil permitting more light to enter the eye. So at that time the pupil also enlarges, dilates, so that's why more amount of light can enter into it, so that the rods which are present over there can get sensitized easily. When a person with a dark adapted eye is moved to a brightly lighted area, coming out of a cinema hall after the noon show. So if you are going for a noon show and coming out of the theater and you see the bright light outside, or again it will be a ulta of what happened. So he experiences a dazzling effect of a short period. After a few seconds he comes back to normal viewing through light adaptation. The adaptation is due to reverse of the previous changes. That means the visual purpose of the rod is bleached, reducing their sensitivity, and the pupil constricts, that is gets narrower, and to reduce the amount of light entering the eye. So this is how the adaptation to dark adaptation and light adaptation takes place. Dark adaptation takes place when you are entering into a dark area, and light adaptation when you are going from a dark area to a bright area. So the partial closure of the eyelids and dazzling light also serves the same purpose. So if it is too bright and we just close our eyes a bit, so that is also an adaptation for the light adaptation for dazzling lights. And for color vision, we know color vision is possible only through cones. So we can see the color only through cones of the retina, which are stimulated only by bright light. If there is no bright light, you cannot see color. So color vision can be seen only with a bright light. You cannot make out the red, violet or purple flowers in a garden on a moonlight, because then only the rods function and not the cones. Because of the moonlight cannot activate our cones, and hence the colored vision of our eye is almost not so clear. That's why we cannot identify whether it's a red color or a purple color or a violet color in the moonlight. Okay, we can do it only in the sunlight or the normal tube light and all. Okay, but not moonlight. Now we see the next part, and that is, so this was about the structure and the function of the different parts of the eye, and also the way the eye are going to adapt itself for the vision of light or dark or distant or near. So there will be accommodation. Accommodation is to see the thing of a farther distance and the near distance, and adaptation is that of the darker part and the lighter part. So this way you saw how the eyes are going to be going through the changes, so that you can see or you can have the best vision. Now what we see will be certain defects of the eyes. Okay, so let's see the common defects in the eye. So the common defects of the eye. First one, near or short sightedness, myopia. Okay, so first one is myopia, which is near sightedness or short sightedness. When I say short sightedness, means what? I can see short things. Short sighted. Okay, I can see shorter distance ka things. So that is why near or short distance sightedness, it is myopia. Is a condition in which the near objects can be seen clearly while the distant objects appear blurred. Okay, when the near things are seen clearly but the distant things appear to be blurred, then you are suffering from a condition called as myopia. In this, the image of the distant object is formed in front of the retina. The reason for myopia are the two possible reasons. So we'll just see this. So I'll just erase this part now. So you can see that if this is the eyeball, you want that the image should fall exactly over here. This is the lens, right? So you want that when the rays of light are coming from a far off distance, they should converge at this point. But in case of myopia, this thing there will be a problem with this, which will make it converge over here. Okay, so what we do is that we are going to place a biconcave lens so that when the light enters here, so now let's see the condition of the light. So condition of light क्या होगा? वो यहाँ से आया और वो थोड़ा spread हुआ. Okay, the lens is like this, and then because the one which was over here, it has got down over here just a bit further, so that's why this will land up over here. So this is myopia. The resultant remedy is biconcave lens. And the two possibilities for this thing is the eyeball is lengthened from the front to back. So अगर ये expand हुआ है, तो yes, that could be a possibility that the eyeball का size increase हो गया, तो ये image जो है यहाँ पे आ गया. Actually, this was the original position of the retina, but now the retina has gone backwards, so that's why it is not giving you the right image. And other thing is the lens is too curved. If the lens becomes too curved, then it is giving you the image directly over here. So curvature of the lens, अगर वो adjustments का problem हो गया, it is getting too curved, then you give this problem. So even both reasons may occur together also, possible. Correction of the myopia. This defect can be corrected by suitable curvature, that is diverging lens, suitable concave, the diverging lens, which causes the light ray to diverge before they strike the lens of the eye. Most of your classmates using spectacles may be suffering from myopia, that power of the lens used in mentioned in minus. So जो लोग भी the lens they wear the specs because they are not able to see the board, or so they are all suffering from myopia. The next one is hyperopia. So the next one is the condition which is hyperopia. So in this case is hyperopia, also called as hypermetropia, or it is also mainly called as far-sightedness or long-sightedness. I can see far off objects. So if this is the lens, if this is the eye and this is the lens, we want that near से जो भी पास में से object जो है वो ऐसे जाए, and then it should go like this on the retina. Okay, this is what we want. Okay, the near things should fall over here, but what exactly happens over here is that instead of falling here, they fall much beyond this. So they are falling like this. Okay, they fall somewhere here. So in such a case, what we do is that we are going to place a biconvex lens over here, so that this is going to get converged. So instead of going like this, it is converging like this. So this one is going to converge like this. So accordingly, this will fall over here. Okay, so this is the new lines which will be exactly similar to the old lines what you were having before the specs, when everything was normal. So when it is abnormal, it is going to go behind the retina. Okay, so it is far-sightedness, hyperopia. Far or long-sightedness, hyperopia, old term hypermetropia, is a condition in which there is a difficulty in seeing near objects. In it, the image of near objects fall behind the retina, and a converging lens is required to correct it. Power of the glass used is mentioned as plus. So those who have got glasses for reading purpose, okay, those who have glasses के मुझे सिर्फ पढ़ते वक्त बोला है पढ़ने के लिए, या in front of a computer or something where you want to read something, you need a glass, you need the spectacles, is this kind of defect. This defect results in account of either shortening of the eyeball, so the eyeball is either shortened, or flattening of the lens, or from back to front, or the lens is too flat. That is the condition hyperopia. The next condition is astigmatism. Is a defect in which some parts of the object are seen in focus while others are blurred. It arises due to the uneven curvature of the cornea. This is corrected by cylindrical lenses. So many people you agree with that when they see something, ऐसे सब कुछ क्लियर दिखता है, पर जो साइड्स जो है, and means में विजन का जो साइड्स जो होते हैं, एक अगर ये स्क्रीन है तो ये साइड ये साइड ये साइड ये साइड चार जो है वो थोड़ा ब्लर्ड हो जाता है, मींस सेंटर बराबर दिखता है पर साइड पे ब्लर्ड होता है. So that is called as this defect astigmatism. For this you need cylindrical glasses. So those who are having problem of this one will use cylindrical glasses. The fourth condition is presbyopia. Presbyopia is all the people who have got age above 40 plus, 42 plus in fact. कि उन लोगों का क्या होता है कि automatically they are having a problem of hyperopia. They cannot see the near pathing. That's why all your dads and moms and all the uncles and all who are above 40 plus age, they will be having specs for reading. So that is called as reading glasses, which will be there for the presbyopia. It's called as presbyopia. So we saw over here as astigmatism. And the next one was presbyopia. Okay, presbyopia. The next one is cataract. Okay, presbyopia I did not read. Presbyopia is a condition affecting older people who cannot see near objects clearly. their lens lose flexibility, resulting in the kind of far-sightedness. So you know that what is the normal condition? Normal condition is far-sightedness. They can see everything far off. But पास में देखने के टाइम पे ही लेंस को थिक होना पड़ता है. तो वो जो मसल का जो है पावर है, that particular thing is lost, due to which the person needs gets a hyperopia, which is called as presbyopia. This again is corrected by convex lens. Fifth is cataract. Cataract is a condition in which the lens turns opaque and the vision is cut down even to total blindness. It can be corrected by surgically removing the lens and by using spectacles with high convex lenses. Compensating for the missing lens, or in a newer technique, a smaller plastic lens is implanted behind or in front of the iris. So cataract is a very common thing again, जो मोती बिंदु बोलते हैं हिंदी में. So moti bindu, motia in Gujarati also. So that is called as cataract. In just the opaque, the cornea becomes opaque. So the lens becomes opaque, and because of lens being opaque, that's why the person will be able to see blurred. And so nowadays the technique is a laser technique they use. So they remove the coating from the top, or they place another plastic lens on top of it. So ऐसे करके there are many ways. It's a very simple operation nowadays. Within 1 hour or so, the person is discharged back into home. Sixth is night blindness. Is a condition in which a person feels difficult in seeing in dim light or as during the night. This is due to a non-formation of the pigment visual purple of the rods. Only rods function in dim light, and in the absence of pigment, they cannot function. This is usually due to the deficiency of vitamin A, which is required for synthesis of pigments. Seventh is colorblindness, which is a genetic disease we learned in genetics. Some people by birth cannot discriminate between certain colors, such as red and green. This is due to the genetic defect. The males mostly suffer from this defect, whereas it is rarely in females. Finally, squint, cross-eye. It is a defect. The two eyes somewhat converge, leading to what is called as cross-eye. An opposite condition appears when they diverge, is called as the wide eye. Both conditions may cause double vision of diplopia. Surgery and suitable exercise can correct these defects. So that is about the defects of the eye. Now we move to the next thing, that is stereoscopic image. We correct it in the next video.